time for Top Talkers. It has been a hot topic throughout the course of the week, actually, but especially today. We're talking about Lance Armstrong, the fall from grace. I think it's the biggest sports scandal in history. Joining us for our panel, we have Dean Roberts joining us from the Team 1200, Stuntman Stu from Majic 100, and Graham Richardson joining us from CTV. I'm just going to say go at this point because it just seems, having had this discussion, you each have a very interesting opinion.
Graham had a great point before we went on the air about bullying.
Yeah.
It's bullying, right, Graham?
Well, people who have been watching this from the periphery, I follow sports fairly closely, but I'm not a nut. And cycling's pretty obscure. I mean, Lance Armstrong ruined people's careers. He sued journalists. Journalists had to go into their editors and say, I'm right. And the editors said, I don't think you're right, and we got to pay this guy $500,000, which is what happened. That really happened. So the notion that it was all a lie, and he's now done this mea culpa with Oprah, and he's clearly trying to rehabilitate himself. People should not forget what this man has done. He has ruined people. And beyond the message it sends to young people and cheating and drug use and all of that sort of stuff, he completely lied and bulldozed people who tried to tell the truth. And people shouldn't forget that.
I think for you, you've taken a lot of flack already today on Twitter because it was something that you posted really early this morning.
Yeah, what I said on Twitter this morning was, what kind of an example is this guy for our kids? You know, that you can lie and cheat and bully your way through life and then go on Oprah and say you're sorry. So a lot of people attacked me and said, well, it's good what he's doing that he's finally admitting it. No, he got busted. He knew he couldn't get away with it anymore, and he's probably got a book deal coming up. There's something along the way. And I don't forgive the guy. He cheated 7 times, and as Graham said, he ruined a lot of people's lives. Had he only cheated once, I'd be sitting here going, okay, you know, 1 out of 7, you're wrong. America loves a comeback story. Look at Tiger Woods. Look, it doesn't matter who it is. But 7 times, and the way that he treated people, no way. That was 90 minutes of my life last night. I'm never going to get back.
But whether it's Ben Johnson, whether it's Roger Clemens, the playing field isn't just Lance Armstrong. It's a lot of different athletes in a lot of different sports. Sure, he gets caught, but I think we got to catch them all.
But yes, but you're looking at such a magnitude, and he became a brand. There was such a brand created around Lance Armstrong in terms of what he's done as a cancer survivor, and then the comeback story, and then having these, you know, 7 Tour de France wins, and then his whole branding and the charitable aspect of Live Strong. I mean, there were so many different aspects to them, and yet everything is going to suffer. I feel bad for the charitable aspect of it because there was some good that came from this. Well,
yeah, it's about the myth, and it's a lie. Before his cancer, before his comeback, he was, I'm not a huge cycle fan, but he was not much of a success at all. He's a professional cycler, but he didn't play. So all of a sudden, boom, 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 like the evidence was something happened. This isn't just, you know, but everybody wanted to believe it was divine intervention or whatever it was after cancer. And so it's similar to the Notre Dame story. It's people latching on to something they want to believe. Yeah. And even now, on that story, people are saying, well, you know, I mean, it's about myth-making, it's about money, and it's about nothing else matters. And the truth matters.
Yeah, but he said, he's like, even in the Oprah interview, I lied. Yes, do I feel bad about it? There was almost like a no, and he goes, and that's scary that I didn't think that. She goes, you consider yourself a cheat? Well, no, because I felt like I was just evil, you know, leveling the playing field with everyone else. It's amazing to see how his thought process got him through this. I mean, the lies and the 10 years of being so adamant about this.
I think the reason why a lot of people are so upset about the whole thing is because we invested so much time and we were a fan of his. And it doesn't matter if it's him or if it's a baseball star or if it's a professional athlete. When you are a fan of somebody and you support them and you cheer them on and you root for them, you feel like you've been lied to. And that's the part that I have a problem with as a fan, is that you support something and then you sit down and you watch him with Oprah and he's just going, yeah, you know, this is what happened. Here are the cocktails I took, and sorry, you know.
Well, he certainly wasn't coached as well as Tiger Woods was when Tiger confessed all his stuff.
I think there was a difference between them needing to confess. I don't think Tiger needed to go through that whole process. He didn't ruin a sport. It didn't affect other golfers on the tour. Their results weren't based on the fact that Tiger had this outside life. there are so many athletes whose lives, everything dependent on what we saw with Lance Armstrong, and there's something happening with the International Cycling Union for pretty much to say, okay, let's just do a full clear house and just say, listen, amnesty for everyone. We just want everyone telling us the truth. Have you been doing drugs? You know, what is your influence on this? Do you think that that'll be helpful, a truth and reconciliation, that they just open it up and say, let's just get this all out now?
It's rampant in the sport. Anybody who writes about the sport has said for years that drug use is rampant and it's a problem. So if they want to save their sport, I don't think they ever can. I think this is like the White Sox. You know, I think this is like throwing the World Series. This will always be on the sport, and they can try. I agree with Dick Pound that they should be looking at throwing the sport out of the Olympics. I cycle. I love cycling. You know, I don't follow it very closely, but this has done such deep-rooted damage. And even those clean riders must know as they go that everybody thinks they're doping. That's not the media's fault. That's not anybody's fault other than the dopers like Lance Armstrong, who've lied about it for so many years.
Does it make you more cynical, though, when you see other athletes, when you're watching Michael Phelps at the Olympics, when you're watching Usain Bolt, do you kind of sit back and go, that's pretty cool, but then wonder, like, are we going to hear about this in 10 years from now that Michael Phelps cheated? I mean, that's the problem. It's turned me into such a cynical person watching sports.
We got to go, really
quick. If they
quick.
admit within 5 years of doping, that could be criminal, right? Does that understand?
You know what?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a 5-year statute of limitations on charges, on criminal charges.
Right.
In the States.
It's, well, we're going to see. There's going to be more fallout. And, of course, part 2 is still to come, but at least the big stuff right off the bat. I at least give Oprah credit for that. She said right off the bat, these are the yes-no questions and got right to it.